Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about how you can get a perfect credit score for absolutely free. I'll try to make this subject as interesting as possible and try to simplify everything for you. That way you can understand what is going on when you look at your credit report and exactly how to fix it. Let me start by explaining what a credit score is and how important it is for your financial future. A credit score is a 3-digit number which ranges from 300 to 850. That number estimates how likely you are to repay borrowed money and how likely you are to pay bills on time. There are 3 credit bureaus in the United States that monitor your credit report. You have TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. You want to make sure that your credit score and credit report are clean with all the 3 credit bureaus. That way you can get the best terms when you're trying to apply for a new loan for a house or trying to buy a car. That way you can get the best terms when you're trying to borrow any type of money. This is a critical step in managing your finances because simply it will save you thousands and thousands of dollars in interest expense. Many people will go to try to buy a house or go to a car dealership and try to apply for new loans, and they will get a very high interest rate simply because they have a very bad credit. The higher interest rate that the bank or the dealer or whoever is charging you, that's their way of telling you that we don't trust you to pay us back. We're going to charge you a higher interest rate just to make sure that if you don't pay us back or fail to pay us back, we got ourselves covered and we charge you enough interest ahead of time. That of course ends up costing you thousands and thousands of dollars of interest expense. That money is just simply wasted and could have been invested or saved or anything, or even used on your personal, leisure or whatever it is. So when you go to a lender and they're checking your credit, what they're doing is basically looking at your credit score, credit report, or both, and trying to see how likely you are to repay back debt. That way they can determine whether they can give you money or not give you money, or give you money with a higher interest rate, or give you money and they trust you enough where they can give you a low interest rate. So scores between 300 to almost 600, they're considered poor credit score. That means if you go to apply for a loan, you're going to get a very high interest rate based on these credit scores. Between 600 to 670, 680, that's a fair credit score. Anything above that, you're looking into good credit score. So 680, 690 and above, it's considered a good credit score. You don't have to get the 850 to get the best terms on the market. So there are a few factors that affect your credit score. I'll mention each one of them and I'll walk you through what each one does and what the percentage weight that it holds to calculate your credit score. Number 1 is payment history. That basically tracks how often you are paying back your bills on time, every time. Any late payment, especially 30 days past due, it's going to affect your credit score for years that you'll have to suffer and try to repair it. The payment history factor itself weighs 35% in calculating your credit score. It is extremely important to pay your bills on time every single time. And nowadays, you pretty much have no excuse because most of the bills have auto deduction, auto withdrawal from your bank account. I personally do not make a single payment by check nowadays. Everything goes through my bank account, credit cards, everything is automated. When you automate this process, you'll not forget to pay a bill or just slips through the cracks or get lost in the mail. Everything is going smoothly. The second factor is credit utilization. That's basically the amount of your balances compared to your credit total limit that you have. It is best not to use 30% or more of your total credit limit. Try to stick around 20, less than that, that would be great. Let's say you have a $10,000 credit limit. Try to stick around your credit utilization being $3,000, $2,000. That would be optimal. Credit utilization weighs 30% of your calculating total credit score. We are already at 65% just with 2 factors trying to calculate your credit score: payment history, credit utilization. The third factor is credit history. Don't confuse this with payment history. Payment history is different, which is basically paying your bills on time every single time. Credit history, on the other side, is the longer you had your credit history, the better. That's why my advice is to start as early as possible in establishing your credit. Get a credit card at a very early age. I'm against those people that advise you not to use a credit card. No, I advise you to use a credit card every single time, but use it wisely. Don't use it for the mileage, don't use it for the perks, don't use it for any of these things. Use it to build your own credit, pay it every single month because you don't want to pay any interest expense that could be wasted. Get a simple credit card with no annual fees. They're not charging you anything to have their credit card or elite member or whatever it is, and pay the balance completely every single month. Do not owe anything on your credit card, but basically use it for your daily expenses every single month and pay it off completely at the end. I even suggest parents do this with their kids at a very early age. Get them a credit card in their name and you can monitor their expenses, set a limit. Even if it's a $500 credit card, this is good enough for them to use it for their own expenses. You pay it off completely and then they build their own credit. You will not only help them build their credit at an early age, you're also teaching them how to be responsible and pay for a credit card or how to handle a credit card in general. That way they don't struggle when they become older and try to figure things out on their own. Credit history weighs 15% in calculating your total credit score. The fourth factor is inquiries and new credit. There are two types of inquiries. There are hard inquiries and there are soft inquiries. Hard inquiries then can affect your credit score negatively if they're done so often. However, there are soft inquiries that you can do on a multiple basis on the same let's say within few days or something like that, when you're trying to get a loan or trying to qualify for a refinance or whatever the case might be, and you're trying to check your credit multiple times, they will count it all as one. So you don't have to worry about every time you're trying to refinance something or whatever, you have to check your credit multiple times. It's not going to affect you negatively because it's all count as one inquiry. This factor weighs 10% in calculating your total credit score. The fifth and the last factor is the diversification of your credit. It is best to have a diverse credit in your profile. Basically, home loan, car loan, credit card. These are different type of loans that tells the creditors you can handle multiple types of debts that you can pay back. This factor also weighs 10% in calculating your total credit score. Once again, you do not need to get 850 credit score, which is a perfect score. All you need is 720 and above, and you should get the best terms when you're trying to qualify for a loan, for a car, for whatever, for a home, anything like that. That will get you the best terms when you're trying to qualify for something. In conclusion, it is fairly simple to get a perfect credit score. All you have to do is pay your bills on time every time. Don't use more than 30% of your credit, start at an early age, and diversify your credit. Those 4 factors will give you almost a perfect score. And do me a favor, please check your credit score on an annual basis. There are free reports that you can go online, just like the freecreditreport.com. There are plenty of other websites that can give you a detailed credit report of all the 3 credit bureaus, and you can see exactly if there are things out of control and you can handle them and you can fix them. I hope that was helpful. This information is very important for your financial future because it will save you thousands and thousands of dollars in interest expense. And that money could be saved, it could be invested, and that way you don't waste that much money just because you have a bad credit score. Thank you guys, and until next time.